Morning students, today we are going to start our new chapter of the Flamingo, the last lesson. Last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. Alphonse Daudet was born on 13th May 1840 in Nice, France, and he was died on 16 December 1897 in Paris, France. Initially, he was a school teacher and he quitted to make his living as a journalist in Paris. Alphonse took to writing poems, and his poems were collected in a small volume called L'Amour. So this chapter, the background of this story, the last lesson is this story, last lesson, is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War. The French district of Alsace and Lorraine were captured by Germans. The new master was to come the next day in a school in Alsace to teach German in place of French. The story tells the effect of this news on the life at a school in Alsace. So see here that what happened when France was defeated. When France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Okay, Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. Okay, so first of all, we have to go through the theme of this chapter. What is the theme says? The last lesson revolves around the language and its importance to the citizen of a country. Actually, what has happened over here when the districts of France, Alsace and Lorraine were sent into the hands of Prussian, so the order came over there that the German language would be taught. So finally, what happened over there? The citizens of Alsace and Lorraine were not ready to adopt German language. So what happened over there? That they did not want to learn the German language, but German was imposed on them. So the last lesson revolves around the language and its importance to the citizens of a country. It is the duty of every citizen to safeguard the language of the country, as it is the identity of that country. It was taught in this chapter. Okay, the lesson depicts how after defeating France in the war, the Prussians wanted to rule over not only the territory of France but also over the minds and hearts of the people. The story reinforces the fact that we value something more when it is lost. The pain and anguish of the students and the teacher is evident. We will see the students were shocked when they came to know that in the school German language would be taught, and when they came to know that their French teacher M. Hamel was going forever. Means they did not know when they would get victory, when they would again learn their French language. So the story reinforces the fact that we value something more when it is lost. The pain and anguish of the students and the teacher is evident as everyone realizes how things were taken for granted. The lesson emphasizes the importance of the mother tongue for everyone and the need to realize the fact that it is our language which gives our identity, respect, and freedom. Students, I have already given you the theme to note down in your notebook. Now we have to understand what does this chapter say, or we can say that what is the summary of this chapter. Okay, fine. So this chapter, last lesson by Alphonse Daudet, narrates about the year 18 you can say 70, when the Prussian forces under Bismarck attacked and captured France. The French districts of Alsace and Lorraine went into Prussian hands. Fine. The new Prussian rulers discontinued the teaching of French. French teachers were asked to leave. This story describes the last day of French. This story describes the last day of one such French am Hamel. Okay, am Hamel means one such French teacher, am Hamel. Mr. Am Hamel had been transferred and could no longer remain in his old school. Still, he gave his last lesson to the students with utmost devotion and sincerity as ever. Means on the last day when Am Hamel already came to know that he was going forever from Alsace, okay, and he was not going to teach Alsace, students of Alsace. But still, on the last day, Am Hamel was teaching with utmost dedication. Still, he gave his last lesson to the students with utmost devotion and sincerity as ever. The story depicts the pathos of the whole situation. Okay, how did people feel over there? Whole situation about how one language and then losing an assist in Am Hamel. One of the students of Am Hamel, French, who dreaded French class and Am Hamel's iron rod, came to the school that day thinking he would be punished as he had not learnt his lesson. But on reaching school, he found Am Hamel dressed in a Sunday's clothes, means fine clothes, and all the old people of the village sitting there. It was due to an order on the bulletin board. That was the first day when he realized, that was the first day, means on the last day, we can say last day of the French language, but it was the first day of French student. That was the first day when he realized for the first time that how important French language was for him, but it was his last lesson in French. So this is the main idea of this chapter. What? This is the main idea of this chapter. What the human tendency that there is plenty of time to do things. We all used to say that we have lot of time to do. As the man keeps postponing the lessons of life, oblivious to the fact that life is subject to change. So the same thing has happened over here. The people of Alsace always thought that they had plenty of time to learn the lessons. Therefore, they did not give much importance to the school. They preferred their children to work on the farms and mills instead of having them learn the lessons. Even French, the narrator always looked for opportunities to skip school and look for birds' nests or go sliding on the banks of the river Saar. However, the unexpected happens and an order is received from Berlin regarding the compulsory teaching of German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. It is then that the people of Alsace realized that they would be deprived of what they had not been valuing all this while. So, the story is aptly titled as it evokes the consciousness in the reader not to put up things. So, it is a message to you all, आप सबके लिए मैसेज है not to put off things and do what one can do that day. Okay, so we have one proverb in Hindi, what that काल करे सो आज कर, आज करे सो अब. So this is the main idea behind this chapter, that how people of Alsace and Lorraine did not care about their language, always postponed their work, and at last they all realized what? That not to put off things and do what one can do that day. Fine. And at last we will see in this chapter, Mr. Am Hamel, the French teacher, Mr. Am Hamel's bold, long living France on the blackboard becomes what? Substantial evidence of his sadness, patriotism, and finality. So we will go through this chapter. I have already explained you what is the background of the story. Okay, what is the theme of the story and justification of the title. So go through this chapter properly, and tomorrow we all are going to start line by line explanation of this chapter, the last lesson. Fine. So you have to keep this idea in your mind. जैसे अभी अभी मैंने आपको एक आइडिया दिया है क्या, नॉट टू पुट ऑफ थिंग्स. सो आई वुड लाइक टू एडवाइज यू नॉट टू पुट ऑफ थिंग्स. प्लीज गो थ्रू दिस चैप्टर. द टास्क that is given to you, okay, daily. Do it on time at last, otherwise it will be create what that a hodgepodge in your mind. But I know very well that you all are brilliant students, wonderful students, so I hope that you will do your work on time. Okay, so go through this video properly and then read the chapter, and tomorrow we will meet with our new with our explanation. Okay, and do the tasks that I have given you, assignment that I have given you in the PDF file. Thank you. Have a nice day.